Welcome to This Is How It Works. I'm Adrienne Amari, a past life regressionist, tarot practitioner, and clarity coach. And today we're talking about one of my favorite topics, past life regression. So, past life regression is when you are put into a hypnotic state so that you can reaccess or recall memories from a past life or a past incarnation. So, our soul incarnates time and time again to learn lessons, and we don't always learn them the first, second, or third time around, to have different experiences and to help others as well. So, for past life regression, the reason we go into hypnosis is to get our conscious mind out of the way so that we can access those subconscious memories. And the reason our conscious mind can't generally access those memories is because we are still in a physical body, in a physical reality. And our human brain can only take on and absorb and work with so much data. So those past life memories get stored way back there, way under everything. And hypnosis allows us to bring that out. Now, it's not like stage hypnosis where you're going to be told to bark like a dog or that weird things are implanted into your brain or anything like that. You are very much in control and you have agency. So, the goal is to get you into a relaxed state. It's an alpha or theta brainwave state, which you go into every day. It's natural, it's safe. Sometimes it happens when you're meditating or when you're super involved in like a TV show or a book and you just kind of tune out the world around you. It's that brainwave state that we're going into. And it's not that you lose control of anything. You feel so relaxed, your body feels heavy, and it's like you just don't care to do anything. But if you say have to go to the bathroom or something like that during your session, you still have the awareness to say something, be brought out of it, do what you got to do, and go back in. You can answer questions, you can describe what you're seeing. So, again, you still have agency and you still have control. Now, people experience past life regression in different ways. So, I think the main way people think it's going to go is that it's going to be like a movie playing out in front of them. And some people do get that. It's like they're a character in a movie and they get to interact with the scene, they can go different places. For a lot of people, it feels like kind of a hazy dream. Sometimes people feel like it's a still, like a picture they're looking at, and they can describe the picture. Sometimes it's different sensations, smells, sounds. So there's really no wrong way to experience a past life regression. But I would say don't get caught up in the idea that it has to look a certain way because it could be different every time you do it, and it could be different for every single person. So, why do it? Why do past life regression? Well, as we incarnate time and time again, little strings sometimes get carried forward. Strings and baggage gets carried along. So, past life regression can help us to understand and release things from a past life that we've carried forward. So, a great example is inexplicable fears and phobias. So, let's say you have a huge fear of water in this current life, and there's no rational explanation for it. You didn't have a bad experience or anything as a child. You just hate water and you don't know why. Well, perhaps in a past life, you drowned and you're still carrying some of that trauma with you without knowing it. Sometimes it can also help us to release body tension and body pain. So, for example, let's say you have a pain in your side and there's no medical reason, there's nothing, no reason why you should have that. Well, perhaps in a past life you were stabbed there and that energy is still carrying over. We sometimes make vows and promises and contracts in previous lives that we don't fully release when we pass. So maybe you were a monk in a past life and you took a vow of poverty. And in this life, you're having a really hard time accumulating money and making ends meet. Now, I don't want it to sound like every single problem in this life is related to a past life. But when we can't really find a logical reason or a rational reason why, it might be worth looking at. Again, it can help us understand and resolve unconscious patterns that we unknowingly recreate in this life. So maybe we're trying to prove something, we're trying to fix something from a past life in the here and the now. It can help us to understand death because we do go to the death scene. And I think a lot of people who have experienced past life regression, the fear of death really dissipates because you realize that it's not bad, that there's more after. And even if the death itself was difficult, the time afterwards always seems very gentle and peaceful. We can understand relationships as well. Sometimes we incarnate with our soul family. That doesn't mean it has to be romantic, but just different souls that we work with time and time again that we connect with. So it could be in this life, maybe you have a mother daughter relationship, but in a previous life, maybe they were your grandfather, or maybe you were lovers. So you'll incarnate differently to learn different lessons, to have different experiences with one another. Curiosity is a 100% valid reason to get a past life regression as well. So maybe you grew up being totally obsessed with a certain era or time in history. Maybe that's because you lived in it. Maybe you had a really good life at that time or a difficult life with something that was unresolved. So you're really attracted to that era now. It could also be dreams. That's actually why I got into past life regression. I would consistently have a dream that I knew was not a dream. I knew it was a memory because it felt so different. And it turns out it is a past life memory. And many of my clients have had the same experience. So if there is this repeating dream and you're like, it feels different, it might be worth looking into. So, what does a past life regression session look like? Well, I know every practitioner might be a little different. So I always start with an explanation, just in case you have any questions, just so you know what to expect. Then we go into our hypnosis, where you get nice and comfy and relaxed. I always start by visiting memories in this current life, pleasant memories from your childhood in this current life. We go back into the womb because I always find that so interesting. And then we take a ride back to the past where we experience maybe 3 or 4 different scenes from a previous life that either works on the issue that you came about or that has influence on this current life. We will visit the death scene, and we do have time to visit the space in between where there's time for reflection, time to ask questions of your higher self. There's also a therapy component where we work to release or resolve whatever might be stuck or holding you back. And one really cool part of this is we can see if you've been working on this issue through multiple lifetimes. So I always find that really interesting. If time permits and energy permits, we can also look into the higher self or spirit guides to see what advice they have, what guidance they have. You can ask about your purpose if you're feeling really lost. And then we come back. So we work on coming back to the here and the now. When people wake up, they generally just feel really relaxed, really refreshed. You can remember most of what you experienced. So most practitioners will record the session so that you can get the audio and re-listen because it is kind of like a dream where it probably won't stay with you forever. It will, I find, for longer than a dream generally does for me personally. But if you want to journal about it or write things down, I would say do that as soon as you can after the session. I do find once people have done a past life regression session, it is like a door unlocks a little bit. So if you want to continue to explore either that past life or other past lives, it's a little bit easier the more you do it. So, of course, you can do more past life regression sessions, but there are things you can do like journaling, automatic writing. You can really pay attention to your dreams because you'll find that things come up a little bit more and more if you're open to it that you're like, oh, yes, I know what this is. And because you know that feeling, it's easier to categorize. You're like, oh, no, this is a past life memory. I do know where that's coming from. And I think that can be really, really helpful. You can get a lot of clarity after a past life regression because it does help you understand things that you couldn't before. So it's like that switch flips, which is such, I think, a relieving experience. You can also release a lot of heavy emotions, fears, things that are weighing you down. And you can have a better sense of how to move forward. It really can help you move forward with guidance, with more purpose, with intention, and feel more confident about the choices you're making. I hope you found this little session on past life regression interesting. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Happy to reply. And you can always find me at adrienneamari.com or on Instagram at Adrienne Amari Tarot. Thank you so much for watching.